Hey, it's Filthy Tom.
And what's up?
Yeah,
Tom,
nice.
This is Mel. She's
How's
the
it
host
going?
of the Power Bombshells on the Fight Game Media Network.
Awesome. How are you, Mel?
I'm good, Tom. We are big fans over at Power Bombshells. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
We are, especially the jorts, man. We love them. They're the best. Thank you for that.
They're keeping me in shape, at least. I mean, you know what I mean?
Whatever it takes.
So I'm gonna have to switch it up eventually, or pretty soon. Maybe I'll have to add something, or I don't know, maybe take something away. I don't know.
Will they even let you into Japan with those things?
I don't know. But I'm gonna hold on to them at least till I go over there, because I'm pretty sure there's.
Oh, do we lose Tom?
Just
Tom's internet. Tom, hey, James McDaniel from the Boom is joining us. Oh, there's Tom.
Right. That's right, Paul. There's not enough room for me and Tom. I just kicked his ass out.
Tom stalled out for a second there. You were talking about your jorts.
Yeah.
It's because
I thought he was going to pose for a second there.
No.
I got to put this in there, though. I think that the Japanese fans will be all about it. I think he's a pretty big deal. Also.
I think so too.
I think they're gonna like. I think they're gonna like it. Like, even if they would think they wouldn't, I think that they're definitely gonna. I really do.
Oh, and we're being joined by Scott Young.
There
we go. Scott Young from The Wrap, which is our WWE show. So we got Filthy Tom, James B. McDaniel, Scott Young, Mel Gray from the Power Bombshells, and me, Grandpa Dez, a.k.a. Paul Fontaine. And we're here to talk WrestleMania weekend. And it's not just WrestleMania, because there's so many other great shows. And that's why I wanted to have Filthy Tom on. Because, Tom, would you wrestle 3 times?
No, I wrestled 2 times.
Okay.
Actually.
I lied to Seth Rollins then.
My biggest win was at the bar where I saw you.
Oh, yeah.
Where I won the basketball Pop-A-Shot championship, set a new high score, 291 points. I was very proud.
Nice.
But I also wrestled at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Lone Star Shootout, which took place at WrestleCon, and also on the Black Label Pro Norm show, which took place at the Collective. So I got to see both venues. I got to kind of feel out both things. I did a signing Friday morning at WrestleCon with my New Japan Strong title. I actually ran into somebody at the show who had a replica belt, which is the first time that I've seen that. So hopefully, I'm pretty sure they're a listener now that I think about it. I think I heard them mention that Grandpa Dez. I think I heard him say they were a listener. So if they're out there, props to you. Get a hold of me so I can get a replica belt made of my own.
Cool.
I'll commission you to do it.
Who'd you wrestle on those shows?
It was 2 6-man tags, actually, on the Lone Star Shootout. It was myself, J.R. Kratos, and Royce Isaacs, as we took on the team of the DKC, Alex Coughlin, and Fred Rosser. And then at Black Label Pro is me, Dominic Guarini, Kevin Koo against Kevin Blackwood, Titus Alexander, who was a replacement. There's quite a few injuries going into that show. It was like the last show of the Collective. So, of course, there's a ton of, people getting hurt along the way. And their third guy was Carlos Romo.
Oh, okay. So, cool. Did any of you guys watch either of those 2 shows? I know, James, you watched like everything.
I saw the New Japan one. Yeah,
that was a must-see on my list of like doing. Yeah, that was up top right there. First thing I bought. I was so excited. Absolutely. Because I wanted to go to that show.
Yeah. But I mean, it was running. What time? That was like early evening on Friday, right, Tom?
Yeah, that was on Friday. They also New Japan Strong aired Saturday night too, where I took on Clark Connors. So there's another match, that I guess I wrestled over the weekend. And then actually last night on IWTV, if anybody has that, Paradigm Pro had a British Rounds show in which I wrestled Travis Huckabee. So I'm all over the place.
Nice.
All right.
Seth Rollins is a big fan, Tom.
Is he really?
When I met him on Sunday, he knew who you were. And when I told him you'd been wrestled a bunch of times on the weekend, he said, "Oh man, that guy's living the dream."
It's amazing, to run into people in wrestling. I always forget that a lot of the wrestlers are, MMA fans as well. They just didn't go into that world or for one reason or another, probably because they're, well, I was going to say more intelligent, but I don't know. People in both worlds are kind of crazy. So,
Mel,
go ahead.
Mel's itching to ask you a question. I can tell.
Oh no, I'm just enjoying the.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I'm so happy Sam is gonna be like really bummed out, even though she had a good reason. It was opening day. She's a huge Braves fan.
Sam is the other power bomb.
Sam is my co-host.
Yeah, I'm an Angels fan.
How do you guys do? You know what? I am gonna steal a question here.
We have Otani.
Go ahead. You guys do such a great job on the six-mans, the what is it like? What is the thing that goes into you guys planning a six-man versus a singles these days? Because I am not usually a big fan of those, and on the undercard in New Japan shows, I'm used to it, and that there's a lot of that and the setup and stuff. But really, it's, I don't know. You guys have like your own style of doing it, and I just kind of curious as to what sort of like goes into.
Well, to me, if you watch, for the most part, sometimes it'll switch up, but for the most part, it'll be kind of a hot start of some sort. Guys get jumped at the bell a lot in these multi-mans, but I mean, there's 6 people, so logically, you can't keep people away from each other all the time. So there's usually like a hot start, the baby faces will get some moves, stand tall, and then it'll break down. Now, with New Japan, you see a lot more of kind of back and forth 50-50 action rather than like what people would consider a long sustained heat during a match. The lines between, because it's a sport or presented as a sport over there, it's not always so clear, the lines between a face and a heel. You know what I mean? And a lot of times they'll have traditional faces wrestling against traditional faces. There's some beautiful faces right there in the screen that you could see, but and then everybody will get a chance to shine, so to speak, whether it's against one guy or 2 guys, depending on the length of the match, will kind of determine who gets a chance to do what for what amount of time. But for me, if I can give like a little insight and then you go into the finish, the finish is always like move, something else happens, move. Somebody kicks out, they fire up, move, finish, something along those lines. But for me, as the champion in New Japan Strong, I'm not always, especially on these shows where there's like guys like Jay White, there's Swerves on the shows. There's so many great guys that are on these New Japan Strong shows now. I'm not always like the most over, but as the champion and having the belt, the one guy that walks out there with the title, I'm the most over. You know what I mean? So it's not really up to me in my mind to go out there and get myself over. That's already happened. It's gonna take care of itself. So if you watch these shows, like I don't do a lot of big moves anyways, so I'll do very little in these 6-mans. I'll get beat up most of the time, and then the rest of Team Filthy can clean up the scraps, and it's a lot of fun. It's the most fun I have and I've had throughout my career.
You guys just really nail it. I mean, you really do a nice job, and I like the fact that you don't do. I mean, I like the kind of old school vibe of come at me and tell me that jorts aren't cool. I just think that's great. I love it. Thanks.
One of the things too that people probably don't like think about is I watch a lot of Ric Flair matches, because Ric Flair he'd do a lot of the same style of match. Every once in a while you get like Vader versus Ric Flair, which is him working underneath as like an old baby face, and he's fighting valiantly. But for the most part, he was going into places, he was wrestling different guys, and what he was always trying to do was make them look good. So if you watch him in the ring, you can kind of pinpoint certain things or certain times to give the babyface an opportunity. So he's somebody that I kind of watch to get like the feel of how he wrestles, and that somebody probably doesn't think about that when they watch me necessarily out there. But
James, you got anything for Tom?
I actually do, and it's something as a viewer, WrestleMania weekend has gotten a lot more difficult to navigate since WrestleMania went to 2 nights, because everything used to be pretty evenly distributed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then WrestleMania on Sunday. And Tom, it's got to be difficult getting just arranging bookings as well when everything is now kind of packed into Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I got there on Thursday. When New Japan has us out for shows, I like to have us out early, so we can get prepared. And I was not thinking that all of the stuff was starting to take place on Thursday, because the last time I went to one of these WrestleManias, it was only one night, so I haven't really dealt with these 2-night deals yet. And having Joey Janela's spring break starting on Thursday night kind of threw me off guard. Yeah. Bloodsport took place on Thursday, and then having night 2 of spring break Saturday night, and then WrestleMania starts. NXT is during the day, on Saturday. So it was just like a whirlwind of things. And on top of all that, I'm sure I mentioned it to Paul, but when I landed, I find out my father was in the hospital for a week.
Oh my God.
And he was getting discharged. They didn't find anything when he was in there, and his heart stopped for 9 seconds, on the way out. So they had to immediately put in a pacemaker. And apparently this is pretty common thing. It's not every day. I don't know how close he was knocking on death's door, but apparently it's pretty common. So everything's cool now. But right when I landed, all that stuff started happening. So I had to deal with that. And then it kind of threw my entire weekend off, I would say. And then, the adrenaline rush from wrestling on Friday night and then going down, and then the adrenaline rush from winning that big game at the bar Friday night afterward. It was a topsy-turvy weekend for sure.
And getting a ride back to the hotel in the Grandpa Dez mobile.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice. Hey, I saw the Omni when I was walking around the next day, actually, when I was getting on the leave. So
it was pretty close.
Paul, was there anyone in Dallas that weekend that you didn't meet?
Yeah,
I think you met literally everyone.
There's a few, I did meet a lot of people, but there's a few that I didn't. Honestly, Mookie, I didn't even know was there, and I would have met up with him and bought him a drink for sure.
I actually met him. Well, I don't know. I assume I met him. I didn't realize it was him at one of the Q&As in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. And he was just sitting next to me. I was like, huh? Oh, yeah. That's him.
Just looked just like another dude.
I followed him.
Chris from Minneapolis. I got a question.
On Twitter.
Yeah. Scott, you got anything for Tom?
Just to kind of piggyback off of what James was asking you, do you think that the weekend is becoming a bit oversaturated? Is there too much content to consume during that weekend? Because there's, like you mentioned, there's so many shows. You mentioned you wrestled on multiple shows, and you're a bigger name wrestling on these shows. So you're kind of a marquee guy. So you're, how do you feel about having all these different shows running on the weekend? And do you think it kind of maybe takes away from certain shows, or do you think this is just, the more content, the better?
No, I don't think it's the more content, the better, because there's a lot of stuff that's really awesome out there that I don't get to see at all because I just don't have the time. You know what I mean? I haven't had time to watch the Stardom Cinderella tournament, and damn it, I'm going to do that before this weekend's over. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm just going to have to not watch because of that. And a lot of it was the stuff that happened over WrestleMania weekend. There's just too many shows, and I don't necessarily think that it's the fault of the independent companies, but adding this extra day of WrestleMania just screws everything up. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's too big of a show. There's too many people that are going to that would probably go to that, and some of the independent shows that just will miss out on one or the other. And I don't think that you should be making, the fans have a choice, but you don't have to make the fans make a choice if it doesn't make sense business wise. And to me, it's oversaturated. When you look at the amount of shows that are on some of these pay-per-view packages and things like that, having 20 shows is great, but having 10 shows you can actually watch that are, higher quality or different. There's different guys on the shows is awesome. You know what I mean? Like Mike Bailey is one of the best guys in the world to watch, but I can't watch 10 Mike Bailey matches from last week. Right. You know what I mean? I want to, but it's, you know what I mean? And that sucks.
I wanted to see a Shi'i live, and it was a choice between him and Suzuki.
You want to know how much of the New Japan show I saw? 0.
Right, because they didn't let you come out.
Bailey and Jay White, right?
Yeah.
You know how much of the match between the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake against Davey Richards and Mike Bailey I saw? 0.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So Tom, we
spread it out. I want to watch more Mike Bailey, so spread the 10 matches he had out every month so I could do that.
I'll send you some stuff. Okay, so Tom promised us about 15 minutes, and we've gone a little bit over that, so I want to make sure I don't keep him on too long. You're welcome to stay as long as you want, but
I'll just bury you off air.
There you go. But I do want I know you will. I do want to ask, though, before you have to leave, what was the best match you saw this weekend?
Well, like I said, there's a lot of stuff I didn't see.
Right.
I heard a bunch.
Because I'm going to ask everybody this, so that's why I want to make sure and ask you.
Okay. The best one, I'll cut to the chase. The best one that I saw, besides Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville, was Bianca and Becky. I love that match.
That match was great.
Great match.
Yeah, to cap off their feud or be, what should be the big blow off to their feud. They fought back and forth the entire time. They both came out of this match looking stronger to me. And, even losing the title, it's not like Becky looks like any less of a superstar coming out of this, And I thought Bianca for this, the second year in a row, kind of stole the show with her performance. And they're both just phenomenal performers. I liked almost everything I saw on both nights. What I think was the best debut match ever by anybody in Logan Paul.
Yeah. My daughter was jumping up and down, screaming and cheering for the Miz.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then they turned to babyface, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, because he turned on Logan Paul.
They tried to turn Logan Paul babyface.
Yeah.
Scott
has an interesting theory about what the next plan for Bianca should be for next year. He's had on the wrap.
Yeah, what she's done so far is incredible. Like you said, she's taken out Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. She has already taken out Bayley of the Four Horsewomen. Me personally, the next 2 years, I would have her pick off Bayley and then cap it all off beating Charlotte at WrestleMania in consecutive years. I don't think there's anything greater you could do as far as WWE goes, putting a woman over than having her beat all the Four Horsewomen at WrestleMania. I don't think there's anything greater you could do for a woman performer in WWE right now. Yeah,
I mean, is that your number one wish? Is that what you would hope, or is that what would happen?
So I genuinely think that Bianca Belair is going to knock off Charlotte Flair next year at WrestleMania. I just there has to be the plan going forward because you have to have something planned for her. I think Becky Lynch and Ronda, that's going down in LA. But I mean, if it's not Rhea Ripley and Bianca, you're crazy if you don't go with Charlotte Flair and have her go 3 for 3 in Mania and WrestleMania main events. And Charlotte's the one that got away.
I just love that idea. I wanted to give you some shine there, Scott.
Absolutely.
I would one up it and go long term and send Asuka down to NXT and give her another run with that belt. And then why not have Bianca unify all three?
I like that.
I like that.
I mean, you want to put somebody over.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's never going to happen. But
sold. Big Asuka fan right here. This is huge.
I like the fact that you keep up because I mean you watched everything on WrestleMania, even though you could have been watching all these indie shows, and that's the cool thing to do. To I don't like WWE, but when they're good, they're good. And this weekend was
both nights to me. I went back and watched night one because I didn't have a chance to watch it live. Yeah, and I loved it. You know what I mean?
You should have come with me. I had a ticket.
I was so mad.
I know. And you saw who I brought? Tie-dye guy. I ran into him outside the stadium, and he didn't have a ticket, so I brought him in. Yeah. The what's his name? Eddie?
I don't know. It's wild, the people that you see. Like,
yeah,
I'm walking out during that New Japan show, and I'm slapping hands with guys, and there's Vlad, the super fan. You know what I mean? I'm like,
well, that's who I thought Eddie was. I thought he was Vlad, but it was turns out it was the other guy. He dresses up like Hogan all the time. That guy, you recognize me if you saw him. He's on my Facebook, but he was happy, and then he didn't get in the second night. So
how was it to watch Mania with him, Paul?
It was weird. He was photobombing everybody, holding up signs. Like, I don't know what these signs said, but he's just trying to get himself over. And he promised to buy me a drink for the ticket, which never happened. And whatever, I don't care. The ticket was free. What?
No, he didn't buy you one drink?
Not really, no.
Oh,
yeah, but it's
not
fine.
really.
It's fine.
Hold on.
Well,
really?
Yeah, there's more to this story. There's something here.
A half hour left in the show.
That was a no, yes or no.
Half hour left in the show. He asked me or whatever, and by this point, it's like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to drink. I got to drive. So get me a Dr. Pepper. So he disappears. He comes back with a half a glass of Dr. Pepper. He probably found somewhere. So I didn't drink it. Yeah, that's why I said kinda. I had an interesting weekend, dude.
I want to listen to nothing but a podcast of you just detailing your weekend. This is getting better and better the more I'm hearing.
So who tell the listeners and my three co-hosts here, Tom, who else you introduced me to at the bar who I didn't recognize? Do you even remember?
Well, anyone.
I didn't recognize any of them.
Anyone.
I didn't recognize any of them.
Okay, so it was like Royce Isaacs, who else? Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks, Dave Finley.
Are you serious, Paul?
It wasn't. Dave Finley. No way.
Finley was there.
That was Dave Finley. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Paul, you're dead to me, man. You're dead.
And Uemura.
Yuya Uemura, he was there.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And I'm just like, yeah, cool. Tom's introducing like their first names, and I'm just, oh, cool, nice to meet you. Whatever. One dude's real jacked. I guess that was Fredericks.
Royce.
This is why you get controversy on Twitter, dude.
I know.
This is the reason. It's this sort of thing.
You should keep up, Paul.
I know. I'm an old man. Yeah, and then so that was that. Sorry, who did you say was the jack dude? Oh, Isaacs. Oh yeah, you when we got back to your hotel, I won't repeat the story, but it was a funny story that he told about trying to get into that club, and they were going to check his bag. Yeah.
You just missed out on Jay White. I saw him when I went in the hotel. So.
Oh well, whatever.
You wouldn't have known who it was, anyways.
I would have recognized Jay White. I would have just said, "Dude,
Paul is going hard on the Grandpa Dez gimmick, y'all. He's going all in."
Really I wish it was a gimmick.
Would you recognize Killer Kowalski?
Oh yeah,
there you go.
I recognize Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes told me off at the bar at the Omni. He got mad because I touched him, on the shoulder. I just tapped him and he flipped out. Yeah, apparently you're not allowed to do that.
Touching people.
I know. That's what he said.
Yeah, he's right. You just go touching people you don't know.
Just out here creeping on Freebird.
Especially if he did it to you, that's one thing. Because he could probably fuck you up.
So at the end, right before we talked for like 10 minutes, and then he tapped me on the shoulder. And I'm like, "Did you just touch me?" And he's like, "That was funny, man." And he gave me a fist bump, so that was cool. Michael Hayes told me I was funny. I can take that to my grave.
It's a good way to leave things. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom's not impressed.
That's a good segue.
Yeah. All right. And so are you good to stick around, or you gotta go pick up a pizza, right?
Paul, that was the point. That's why I said that's a good segue.
Okay. All right. So I want to thank Tom for joining us. And
I have a very specific pizza order at 6:15. I go to order 2 pizzas, right? They only do 25 pre-orders a day. I go to order 2, I can only get 1. So now I got to get there so I can get another one.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Get that. So messing around with the man's pizza. Jeez.
I'll bet you're going to be the only guy that picks a WWE match. Oh, maybe Scott. as the match of the weekend. So I'm glad we had you on for that reason only, but also to share your experiences. And you guys can listen to Filthy Tom on the Filthy Four Daily Show, which should be called Filthy Four Weekly, every Monday afternoon on f4wonline.com. And you can check them out on New Japan Strong, New Japan World, the reigning, defending, undisputed, never open weight. What the hell is it? Champion of the world, Filthy Tom Lawlor. Yeah.
Filthy Tom Lawlor on Twitter and Instagram.
All right.
Peace.
Cool. Thanks, Tom. Catch you later. You can bury me off air.